I don't care who you are. Every year in fantasy football, we all have players that we love, players that we really want to focus on drafting in every draft that we have. Can we always get all the players that we want? No. But who are a few of my players that I'm really focusing on? Players that I love here in 2022? We're talking about them right now. What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there today. We're talking about 15 players that I love here in 2022 fantasy football. Can you walk away from your draft with all 15 of these names? Unless you draft with a bunch of idiots, probably not. But you may be able to walk away with a few of these guys and give yourself an opportunity to have a solid fantasy roster once again here this season. Before we get into this list of names, got a couple things I got to give away some draft guides because you guys have been crushing your like goals here as of late. So for the last 3 videos here, Do This and Win, Danny Kaiser, 5 players that no one wants, Cooper, and for tough draft day decisions that I did a few days ago, Corey Ogba. Congratulations. You guys are winning free 2022 fantasy football draft guides. Send me an email to info@thefantasyheadliners.com and I'll make sure you are hooked up and good to go. But I got to do a giveaway here. I am feeling good. The season is right around the corner, but I get a lot of questions about what all is in your office, Jake. So I'm going to give away something from my office here today, and maybe you'll spot it in this video, maybe you won't, but this is kind of what I have lying around here. So as you can tell, there's a lot of things here in this office thanks to our friends over at Pristine Auction. But which one of the items in the video that you just saw am I going to give away? A signed mini helmet. This is a signed Jonathan Taylor mini Colts helmet. Hit that like button down below because as soon as we hit 1,956 likes on this video, I'm going to pick a winner for that. But how do you become eligible? Well, go over to Pristine Auction. I've been saying this for weeks. We're doing giveaways every single week this season coming up. You don't want to miss out. In order to be eligible for these giveaways, head over to pristineauction.com. There's a link down below in the description. Use the referral code Headliners and sign up for a free account. It doesn't cost you anything. They're going to put a $10 credit into your account, and if at some point you decide that you want to purchase something that's completely awesome from their site, you'll have a $10 credit there to use, so don't miss out on that. So hit that like button. Leave a comment down below if you're interested. Get that account signed up on Pristine Auction, and let's head into the content here. 15 players that I love. Number 1 on the list shouldn't be much of a surprise. It's going to be Nick Chubb. Now, I can already hear you guys, oh, here we go again. Dude likes Nick Chubb. Let me put it this way. I've liked Nick Chubb for years, and I have yet to be wrong on the guy. So I'm going to continue to throw him on the list of players that I love. Now, yes, I understand. Deshaun Watson not playing for 11 games. Do I care about that? No, not really. They're going to have to run the ball a lot. They have one of the best offensive lines in football, and we know that this guy can handle volume. Kareem Hunt, kind of disgruntled at the time, right? Kind of wants out of Cleveland because he wants more of a role, but as of right now, he's arguably one of the better options in this offense, and they're not going to let him go for nothing. Nick Chubb is going to flirt with 280 plus touches once again here this year, and he's just a player I love, and what's great about this is you can kind of get him in the second round now. So you could literally go back to back and have Nick Chubb as your running back too. I mean, what is wrong with that? Nick Chubb is a perennial top 12 running back each and every year. He's safer, compared to a lot of other people, maybe in that similar vicinity in ADP. I love Nick Chubb still, And especially if I can get him in the second round, end of the first, I'm all over it. Now, Aaron Jones next up on the list. As you can see, I've talked about Aaron Jones in depth. He's one of my must-have running backs here this year. You can see the thumbnail in which I went into crazy depth on Aaron Jones. This team is really going to rely on this backfield, both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I love both of them here this year. Aaron Jones is going to get a little bit more of the pass-catching work, plus dude is super explosive. He doesn't need 20-plus touches to put up huge fantasy days. He's going to touch the ball 15 to 18 times per game, and he's going to be great for your fantasy football team. Got him at number 2, but remember, these are in no specific order. Then we got Leonard Fournette, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was in the same video as Aaron Jones. You got to make sure you check that out. I'm going to put links to these videos down below in the description, but Leonard Fournette going to get all the checkdowns from Tom Brady when he returns here this year. He's going to be a guy that's heavily involved in this offense. Remember, Chris Godwin, still not 100%. No Gronk there anymore. We've been banged up on the offensive line in Tampa Bay, which sucks, but you got to remember that Leonard Fournette makes his money in fantasy football in the pass-catching game. If they can't run it successfully, they're throwing it more and checking it down to playoff Lenny. Leonard Fournette, another one of those names that I still really, really like in drafts this year. How about Jalen Waddle? Got him at number 4. A lot of people just hopped off the bandwagon of Jalen Waddle. I don't know why. This guy is going 40th overall as wide receiver 15. Yes, I know. Tyreek Hill is in Miami. But there are so many people out there that just hate Tua so much that they don't think he can go deep down the field to Tyreek Hill. But if that's the case, who's going to eat underneath? It's going to be Jalen Waddle. They're not going to put a safety over the top of Jalen Waddle. They will do that against Tyreek Hill, which means one-on-one coverage all over the place for Jalen Waddle. At 40th overall, he's still a name that I love in fantasy football drafts. What about Travis Etienne? Another guy that I've talked about in a previous video when I discussed second-year breakouts for the running back position. I'll have a link down below for that show as well. But Travis Etienne, we already know he has the eye of his quarterback, right? They played in college together there, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne at Clemson. This is going to be a team that's still trailing an awful lot. Travis Etienne going to be involved in the pass-catching game, and even though James Robinson is back and kind of ahead of schedule here this year, he may handle the early down work, but we can see Travis Etienne in the slot at times this year, and I absolutely love that. He has that game-breaking home run ability that make big plays happen a lot more frequently than of James Robinson on a team that's always going to be trailing. I'm looking for one of those home run guys. Travis Etienne could be that guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 6, Tony Pollard, another guy I've talked about already in super depth. And now all of a sudden, maybe it's looking a little bit better, right? The offensive line getting banged up in Dallas. They've lost left tackle Tyron Smith. That is a huge blow to that offensive line. That will hurt Zeke. That will not hurt Tony Pollard as much because he's that change of pace guy. He's the guy that's going to be involved in the pass-catching game. He's a little bit more efficient than Zeke. Doesn't need the amount of touches, and we already know they need playmakers in this offense, right? Michael Gallup, not 100%. Cedric Wilson is gone. Amari Cooper is gone. Tony Pollard proved last year he could be a playmaker in this offense. They're going to need him again this season. Tony Pollard right here at 6 for me. Number 7, Lamar Jackson. I think the only quarterback on my list, and I am all in on Lamar Jackson this year at a certain point. If you've watched me for any length of time, you know that I don't draft quarterbacks early. I just don't do it. And right now, Lamar Jackson's ADP, 48th overall, which means he's fringe 5th round. If Lamar Jackson falls to the 5th round of fantasy drafts, I will pull that trigger this year. The guy, he's looking to make a lot of money. He's in shape. He's bulked up. We know the rushing ability is going to be there. The offensive line super improved. Ronnie Stanley coming back is a huge, huge gain for this offensive line. Lamar Jackson's going to have Rashad Bateman. We got Mark Andrews. A lot of people out there liking Isaiah Likely, but slow the roll a little bit. The guys out there in preseason, Mark Andrews isn't going away. Lamar Jackson's going to have an opportunity to have a rebirth of the MVP-ish type season. It's a team that's going to have to heavily rely on Lamar Jackson, and I don't hate him at all this year. Courtland Sutton. Now, a lot of people are going to say, I like Jerry Jeudy better, and honestly, I can't say anything negative about Jerry Jeudy, but I see a higher touchdown upside with Courtland Sutton, currently going wide receiver 20, 51st overall. If you kind of miss out on some of the top wide receivers early, Courtland Sutton has a huge ceiling with Russell Wilson as his quarterback. Russell Wilson, one of the most consistent and accurate deep ball passing quarterbacks in the NFL. That really suits Courtland Sutton. At the end of the season, we may see Jeudy with more receptions, but we could see more yardage and touchdowns going the way of Courtland Sutton. That's why I have him here on the list of somebody that I just love here this year if I can get my hands on him. How about number 9, Juju Smith-Schuster? A lot of people just went, ugh. You gotta watch the video on bounce back players I did a few weeks ago, really outline why I love Juju Smith-Schuster. The guy is going to be the number 1 wide receiver option for Patrick Mahomes in a Chiefs offense. Sure, Travis Kelce's gonna get his, but after that, it's going to be Juju and then everyone else fighting for the scraps. I know you may like Sky Moore. I know MVS has some big playability, but when you're talking about consistency and receptions in this offense, Juju's going to get a ton of targets, and I definitely am. I'm focused on trying to grab Juju in every draft that I can just because of the great value. Number 10, I got Adam Thielen. Did a video on him when we're talking about massive value here. Adam Thielen's kind of an afterthought, right? We love the new offense in Minnesota. We love the new coaching staff. They're going to up the tempo of play. You know, we love Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, and Adam Thielen's kind of just like a has-been, right? It's because he's NFL old. Well, the dude is looked at in the red zone, and they're going to continue to do that each and every year. Sure, his overall totals may come down slightly, but the touchdown opportunities are still going to be there, and at the price tag in which you can get him, Adam Thielen is a safe, reliable wide receiver 2 for you if you can get him here this year. How about number 11, Rashad Bateman? We already talked about Lamar Jackson. Rashad Bateman is criminally undervalued. He is his team's number 1 wide receiving option on a team in which has a ton of vacated targets because they lost Hollywood Brown and Sammy Watkins, but still a lot of targets up for grabs. They have the draft capital invested in Rashad Bateman. They didn't go out there and really bring anybody else in big enough to challenge Rashad Bateman because they believe in him. Rashad Bateman is so slept on here this year. He's easily somebody who could go out there and get 130 plus targets and could be your wide receiver 4. Love Rashad Bateman here this year, along with the next guy, Elijah Moore of the New York Jets. A lot of people started to hop on the bandwagon. Seats were running out on this bandwagon, and then we had the injury to Zach Wilson, and now everybody's jumping ship. Don't jump ship too early on Elijah Moore. He's going to be the guy in this offense that just eats up targets and receptions, and he can make plays happen after the catch. That's what he's really known for. He can make big plays happen on a 5-yard crossing route. Elijah Moore is arguably the best option in this offense for big plays. Now, what happens if we don't have Zach Wilson week 1, which we still might? Don't be too scared off of that yet. Joe Flacco isn't looking half bad. I guess Elijah Moore is definitely going to be one of the top targets in this offense. And no, I haven't forgot about Garrett Wilson, but Elijah Moore is somebody that I feel a lot of people have just kind of forgot about, and I will take advantage of that, and I will draft Elijah Moore a lot this year. How about 13? Another young wide receiver, Drake London of the Atlanta Falcons. Another guy who I believe is still just going too late. 99th overall, wide receiver 40 on a team that really has not a lot of options, right? I mean, sure, we have Kyle Pitts, and after that, Cordero Patterson. It's a lot of Drake London, okay? The guy, if he can stay healthy, is going to see over 140 targets, and he's wide receiver 40. I mean, come on. This guy is too good. He can separate. He can make the contested catch, and he's going to be looked at in the red zone. I don't care who the quarterback is in Atlanta. This guy is going to get fed the ball because they're going to have to be throwing the ball a lot there this year. Drake London, somebody who I love, especially at his current ADP. He's just one of those guys that gives you a little bit of safe stability at that point of the draft. We all know that each and every year these rookie wide receivers are just popping off. Who is it going to be? There's a few options this year, but Drake London has one of the clearest paths to targets, which is totally hard to say. But the paths for targets are going to be there for Drake London. I absolutely love that. Number 14, Christian Kirk, Jacksonville Jaguars. Talked about him in a late round stashes video, so make sure you check that one out. Link down below as well. He's on a team who just paid him a crazy amount of money. They overpaid Christian Kirk. They lost DJ Chark. They're going to be losing all the time. Christian Kirk is somebody else that we can really see go out there and get 125 plus targets. He's really produced when given the opportunity in the past in Arizona, but he's never been able to be the guy. With the type of money they're paying him, he's kind of going to be the guy. It may not be sexy, but Christian Kirk and his target share is a safe, reliable wide receiver 3, a potential flex play, a bye-week fill-in, and a great value on draft day. And then number 15 is a name that I still don't believe people are talking about enough. It's Nyheim Hines of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, obviously, I haven't forgotten about Jonathan Taylor. I'm giving away his damn mini helmet here right beside me. But Nyheim Hines, somebody who I outlined in a Draft These Players Late video, we know that Matt Ryan checks down to running backs. It's just what he does. He's done it for years upon years upon years. And with Nyheim Hines in the mix, why not let him shoulder some of the load instead of overworking Jonathan Taylor? Now, I know we want Taylor to go out there and get 500 touches, but maybe if he backs it down just a little bit, he's a little bit more efficient, which may be hard for him to really get more efficient than he is. But Nyheim Hines can be a guy in this offense, which we've seen before 2 years ago. And who was that quarterback? Phillip Rivers, who did what? That's right. Checked down to running backs. His coach has already come out and said, hey, if I played fantasy football, Nyheim Hines would be a name that I'd be looking at. They're going to get this guy involved. He's somebody that can finish inside the top 24, and he's a super late round stash for you. I find myself drafting a ton of Nyheim Hines here this year. Now, obviously, there's more than 15 guys that I love here this year, and you probably already know that as well, but these are the guys that I really find myself drafting the most of here in 2022. Now, Kyle's going to come out with his own 15 players that he loves as well. We may have some of the same names on our list. If anything, that should tell you that, hey, we're pretty high on these guys. These may be some guys that we may need to bust out the Sharpie and circle this one on the old cheat sheet come draft day, because a lot of people loving this guy and the potential production, so make sure you check that video out as well. Hit the like button. Looking forward to giving away this signed mini helmet by Jonathan Taylor right here from our friends at Pristine Auction. Have that free account signed up. That's what you got to do to be eligible, right? We're going to hit our like goal. We hit our like goals all the time. So now you have to become eligible. So hit that link down below for Pristine Auction, but use that referral code Headliners when you do so. We greatly appreciate that support. Looking forward to hand that out to somebody there. But for now, I'm going to head out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, a great week, and we'll talk to you later.